Welcome back to the Brewery Astro here at SACS High School as we now move on to the under 16A game. We've just seen the under 15A game finished. Just before that, we had the under 14s. SACS coming out on top on those two games. But now we move on to the under 16 challenge as we have a nice clear day in Cape Town, which don't hold your breath because actually we're expecting another cold front to come in and we're going to have some rain later, I'm sure. I'm joined today by Brinsley Powell, a Wynberg old boy and a prominent coach in South Africa. Brinsley, what are your expectations for this game?
Yeah, afternoon. Thanks for the introduction, Pierre. It's lovely to be back here on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Yeah, mixed emotions. Wynberg old boy I am, but a current SACS coach and really enjoying it. So yeah, looking forward to the 16A game. It's cold out there. I was just umpiring the game before and I managed to see some snow on the Stellenbosch Mountains, but looking forward to a fiery, hot affair. The oldest boys' school derby in the country, as I know very, very well.
Yes, no, this goes a long way back, and like I said in the previous matches, these guys get to know each other so well when they play each other so often. Brinsley, you're wearing one SACS sock and one Wynberg sock there, I see.
Unconfirmed, not sure.
As the game gets underway, SACS got the free hit, off it goes, but they make the error early on. Yes, no, there's been a cold front in Cape Town, and we've got a short little respite here. It might look like a sunny day in Cape Town. If you look at the trees behind, if you look at all the spectators in the background, you'll pretty much see them all with their hands in their pockets with beanies and gloves, etc. A very chilly day in Cape Town, but so good to see hockey being played. The third weekend we've had in a row now where we've had hockey being played, brought to you by Sport on DSTV, channel 247, which I see a counter-attack now from SACS. Oh, nice, great layoff by Rowan Davis. He finds Cohen Williams in the open goal. And Cohen Williams with a bit of a celebration.
Yeah, the naughty little dancing feet is on. Cohen Williams being set up by Rowan Davis. A nice, quick, fast break by SACS. A little bit of a mistrap from Wynberg. But first game of the day was similar, 14As. SACS scored first and Wynberg hit back straight away. So maybe Wynberg have a bit of dogfight in them. But early high pressure from the SACS forwards.
No, that was a real quick goal there. The nice thing about that was Rowan Davis not just smashing the ball on the keeper, calmly and politely just dropping the pass off to Cohen Williams, who was in open space. As SACS put more pressure on Davis across the face of the goal, and nobody there to pick it up.
Yeah, Rowan Davis, we both know really, really well. I think he's definitely taken on board the ability to add a bit of finesse to his game. So it's nice to see him not bludging the ball as hard as he can, but two there maybe for once could have kept on his stick and maybe had the shot. As SACS here, the defensive team, Luke Salters, Tom Stewart, Michael Cowan just on the ball now, and Stefan Meyer. It's a really strong back four with a lot of patience that you don't always see at under 16. But a strong win of the ball by a young man who played in the under 14 game. I will get his name. I think it's Zach Schneiders, and he had a strong under 14 game for Wynberg and now playing up in this next game, and I have no doubt he is a one to watch in the future.
I think it's Zach Gibbon. I was just trying to check the shoes again. In that under 14 game we had 4 Zachs playing. It was unbelievable. On each side we had Zachs. Yeah, Zach Gibbon, he had a phenomenal game for the under 14 side. A lot of counterattacks coming his way. SACS trying to push through now, trying to get Michael Roding turning into the circle. Very good stick work from him. Normally just can't find the foot. He was talking about Rowan Davis earlier. It's actually with no spectators here. Normally we've got his dad Peter on the sideline giving a very loud commentary of the match, and we miss him. We miss his commentary going on. I wish I could dial him in right now just to get his voice in the background.
I'm not so sure you do. I mean, I've seen a couple of dialed in messages during these games live on the commentary, and I've now switched my phone off on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Nice to speak to this goalkeeper in shot at the moment, Ashton Bissett. He had a nice game in the previous one, but yeah, just commands his defense, really communicates well. Not always available to hear that from this distance, but yeah, a man that takes control of his defense.
SACS with the injection. Looks like Rowan Davis on the drag flick. A bit of a mistrap, so they go for the slip to Tom Stewart. A bit of a melee there as everybody hacks at the ball, but another great save there. Just making sure that SACS don't get any free shots off there.
And Cowan high up the field maybe a little bit of a nosebleed, but Dale Gatson, that's going to be an important battle there today. They might not come into confrontation too often, but on the ball now, Dale Gatson, a grade 9 boy from Wynberg Boys, a really, really strong player, and I think Wynberg definitely putting a lot of intention on their program with him to go some distance. And Michael Cowan with the high interception.
Yeah, Mike Cowan's the rock at the back there. Just making sure that we're nice and stable at the back, not getting the ball too easily through.
They always say a good free defender and a commanding centre back can set your team up for success, and it's exciting to see both of these teams certainly have that sort of a player. And a great win of the ball. Who would say he was 14?
There's Zach Gibbon trying to slip the ball in. Just not getting a clean slip onto it.
Rogan Sturk has gone for a different styled shirt today, I see.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that even is a shirt, but he's certainly, he's got all his kits on, that we can certainly see.
He's a water polo player, so the cold doesn't affect him, I think. They're used to training in all conditions. Good tackle there by Tom Stewart, just jabbing the ball onto a Wynberg foot to make sure that they can't get the shot off.
Yeah, I correct us if I'm wrong here. Unfortunately, we both are involved with the SACS program, but I think that's Daniel Wiley there just having a little late shot at the ball, but he looks industrious up top, and any forward that is willing to get a couple of shots off is a dangerous forward. But here, Gatson again, strong interception. I think being called for obstruction there. It seems Tristan Butters they're not completely sure about the blow, but you know, they say you can't change the umpire's decision.
You say that, a lot of people try.
Yeah, who wouldn't? But both sides at the moment could certainly just do with making maybe 2 extra passes, just settling a little bit, and from there building a little bit more momentum.
Looking on the coach's bench here, we've got Nate Loff coaching the Wynberg on the 16A side. Nate originally from the George area, a York boy, who plays hockey in the Western Cape now. And on the SACS side, we've got Sam Holmes, who's an old boy of SACS, a passionate old boy, I should say, with his nice bushy hair. You're going to hear Sam Holmes commentating later with the first team match. In his spare time, he likes to DJ as well to keep everybody happy.
I don't know if you'll call that DJing or just making some noise on his own podcast. No, it's a fantastic podcast.
Excellent. SACS putting the press on the left half. That's a typical pattern most teams would play. Put as much pressure on the left half as you can. Liam Halp to the circle entry. Quick little guy to the P spot. No space to shoot. You can just see the SACS boys can't pull the trigger. Wynberg right in their zones, which is just good defending. You want to be right on them and make sure they can't pull the trigger.
Now, certainly speaking from experience in this game through the years, I always know it's a titanic tussle, but the real focus will always be that you make sure you win your 50-50 challenge. And already in all 3 games today, there is the jostling for space is just so evident compared to the previous week's games that we've been involved in. SACS pressing high in every occasion to date. Obviously a clear-cut tactic from the team, and when they win it's obviously to be quite direct in their attacks.
Yeah, they do try and win and go forward as quickly as possible, and the net result often is that they spend a lot of time on the opposition 22 just keeping the pressure on them. You'll see this game, Wynberg going to have to work really hard to get the ball out of their 22, because SACS going to apply constant pressure the whole time. And a quick counter-attack. Dean Carrick trying to get the ball to the P spot, but it gets intercepted. And then the overhead, which probably been ruled to be dangerous, because when you see on the replay, you'll see how close it actually went to Dean Carrick's head. And there it goes. And I think Dean Carrick had a little scare there, thinking this might just take my head off.
Yeah, I think Gatson possibly disputing that Ray Bonnet, the backtracking forward, really strong back reverse pressing sort of clever forward. Maybe got a little touch, but umpire not saying so. So Mike Cowan on the ball now. Push to the second castle, Dean Carrick, and a great save, an absolutely brilliant save there by, I believe it is Ashton Bissett from Wynberg.
That was a really good save. That's the push gain wide to make sure they try and drag the keeper across so they can flick to the open side, and he didn't fall for that. He simply moved across and had a great diving save. So speaking about the coaching staff, Brinsley, in your day, who was your coach at Wynberg when you played?
So we had two that really stick to mind. Got a hard taskmaster, a little bit different 20 years ago. Might be giving my age away a little bit, or 17. But my first real one of prominence was a guy called Derek Folds, also a top boarding master. But yeah, he was involved in some of the national junior programs. Believe the basics and playing down the flanks was a crucial way. And then a man called Craig Sieben, who now actually plies his trade at Pinnacle Hockey Club in Netherlands, and has just gone to the Olympics with Canada. So yeah, very privileged to have those two involved in the program at that sort of time frame.
No, these schools are very good at looking after their coaching staff, and you'd know from being involved with the coaching and being coached by people at that level. Craig Sieben, a fantastic coach, taking over. Paul Rivington was in the era before him, another international coach, actually coaching in Malaysia at the moment, I think. It's such good for these boys to be exposed to good coaching like that. As SACS moving to the circle and the umpire adjudicating that Liam Haupt was hacked as he tried to go through, no advantage, just simply gave the short corner straight away. And I think Davis is asking, why don't you let him shoot? But a short corner is a short corner.
Yeah, and I think also here we need to remain understanding that everyone here is in a learning process. So I think the umpire in question, I've actually seen him before. His name's Tristan Perez, a Wynberg old boy, and I actually watched him the other day umpire a top-level club game, and I thought he did really, really well and shows a lot of promise. So everybody here is in a development and learning process, and it's awesome to see Tristan taking some control. Push out to the first castle.
Dean Carrick going for the spin, a little bit too elaborate, I think.
Wynberg running a really, really, really quick line out there with looks to almost be two first waves, maybe highly aware of some flicking threats. But, geez, Wynberg have done really well to date and run down, I think it's 3 corners or 2 corners and one great save.
SACS have applied all the pressure, but only one love up. It just takes one goal now from Wynberg, or one good short corner, just to open this game up in terms of belief and knowing where they want to go forward. If they could just crack the SACS circle, and there, as I say, that long ball comes in by Hudson.
Yeah, both sides just struggling a tad with fluidity, and something like that, all it takes is maybe 2 minutes of dominance and keeping the ball on your stick. Not necessarily also on defense, trying to win it all the time, but just getting into the right positions. And I think the first team that can do this will really start to take control of the game. A little clever window pass there by Liam Haupt, Tom Stewart to Liam Haupt. That combo knows each other well, and a quick free hit.
Dean Carrick is a little bit guilty of carrying the ball too far there and getting caught up, but he scraps on, as we say at SACS. Eventually comes away with a blow.
And here, Ozzy Pillay, as the boys like to call him. Isaiah Pillay, Cohen Williams, and into Ray Bonnet, saved by Bissett.
Pillay with a quick free hit in the circle entry, take it all the way to the P spot. Dean Carrick with the, I think he's going to pull the shot there, but it ended up being a cross, and Ray Bonnet just tapping the ball into the open net.
I might have to correct you. It might be Cohen Williams actually on back post there. It definitely is one of the two.
I didn't see a big enough celebration from Cohen. Normally he lets us know when he scored. We'll have to backtrack that to see what happened. But Carrick just smashing the ball across, and SACS deflecting the ball nicely high into the net as the keeper lay down to try and block the low shot.
Yeah, and some patterns as well that both teams trying to implement. This is always the big question of, are you focused on it being a team that's just looking at the now and enjoying this year as an under-16 age group, or is this a couple of processes that maybe they could be starting to implement in next year or 2 years' time when they move up into the senior age group? But it does seem like both teams a little bit more tactically aware.
That was a backhand shot by Ray Bonnet. Got caught between the keeper's legs, and the keeper turned around to see what happened to it, and the ball popped loose. And Josh Opperman looks like he ran around and tapped in the open goal.
It's nothing worse than when you trap a ball or you save a ball and it just sort of fiddles underneath you and you actually don't know where it's gone. Probably made worse by the late sun going down below that mountain.
Yes, I'm not sure what the debate is. I'm trying to read their lips. The discussion...
He's going old school. He's asking him what he thinks happened.
There we go. They asked the question.
I think that's called for obstruction and... Well, interesting blow, but you know what they say, sometimes honesty rules, and yeah, good on them in this 170-year-old tradition.
I'm not sure if Josh Opperman will be happy with that, having scored his goal around, sneaking around the back, but whatever happened at the front there, the SACS boys said there was something wrong, and the game resets itself and goes on. Ospele with a really good turn there and a circle entry.
So maybe SACS just a little bit guilty at the moment of making the circle quite easy to defend, where a lot of the guys keep filling really narrow part of the circle. Obviously one must fill those zones, but at the moment it just seems like Williams, Bonnet and Davis and young Cole Allen all running into the same space.
Yeah, it's the route one ball. Everybody's trying to go down the middle instead of giving some width. Pelé getting some attention now. That does happen when you're a good player and you carry the ball a lot. As the umpires blow for the end of the first chukker, SACS 2-love up. Interesting start, a little bit cagey, nothing really loose and passing going on as we normally expect from these teams, but I think they'll settle down in the next chukkers and get the free flow game going.
Yeah, knowing both coaches actually personally, Nate Loff is very, very calm, and I think regardless of the score, he'll chat to the Wynberg boys about the process as well as just making sure that they can string a couple of passes together and get some rhythm. And I know the man in shot there now, Sam Holmes, with the bushy hair, he is very, very, very focused on keeping everybody calm and doing their jobs. And his is a big about persistence and just doing the process. That there, Pierre, that is the site of all sites, the beautiful Devil's Peak range in all of its mighty.
No, Brisley, I know you spend a lot of time on there, running up and down that thing. But it is one of the better views on any astro around the country, having the mountain right in your backdrop. Unfortunately, it also comes with the flip side that it seems to rain a heck of a lot due to the mountain. And so most SACS practices do actually happen in the rain. But when the sun sets behind the mountain, it definitely is a nice view to behold. And also when you look on the other side of the field, you get to see across the Stellenbosch Mountains, which I can't lie to you, there is snow on the mountains. You wouldn't say spring is around the corner. Seen some snow-capped mountains in the distance.
Yeah, maybe the last week of cold, let's say. Maybe something, let's pretend that's snow over there in the Cape. But yeah, we are gifted in this country to have some amazing views on our doorstep, or actually right on the AstroTurf. Depending on where you live, you might be in the Midlands and you get some rolling hills, might be on the coastline and you get to see the ocean. And here in Cape Town, you get unbelievable mountain ranges to look at as well. Davis, I thought he was going to run it. No, he passes it back.
As we start the second chukker, the next 15 minutes. SACS 2-love up. Just taking up where they left off, attacking the Wynberg goal with a free shot off there by Davis. An umpire adjudicated that the goalkeeper saved it into the air and therefore it becomes dangerous. I always watch when the umpire makes a call like this. We look at the perpetrator to see how upset they are with the decision, but the Wynberg keeper didn't look too perturbed. I think he owned up to it and said it was his fault there. As SACS line up a lot of players on the edge of the circle, there seems to be a big bun fight about who's going to be taking this. As I see the drag flickers line up, we've got Tom Stewart, we've got Rowan Davis. Poor Michael Rowan-Turner got told to go back to the halfway line. No forward likes that.
He will not be happy at being told get back. He wants his name there.
I'm sure he's not going to be happy with that. Mike Cowan.
Yeah, some attention here maybe to be given to the Wynberg PC defensive team. They've really run some good lines.
Running a 2-2 to get out. Oh, SACS have gone back to Mike Cowan, but he overrun that one. trying to find a way around the Wynberg defense there, just by playing the ball a little bit wide, not down the middle. But Mike Khan overrunning it, and I'm sure he's going to be upset with himself. Goal scoring chance. Ejectors don't get them often. Dean Carrick, no, Michael Roy Turner, sorry, on the backhand. Another good save by Bissett.
Yeah, to date, all 3 games, Wynberg goalkeepers looking really, really comfortable in the air, and maybe just looking for that pass on the floor, or maybe just the cross, the shot actually staying on the floor.
Kenya Nate Loff in the background telling his players to get back and defend. Trying to get bodies behind the ball just to make the life difficult of the SACS boys to get inside the circle. Big Shoulders getting some attention there from Zach Gibbon, the under 14 in the team. As we know from the with the COVID isolations and boys that have to take 10 days off here, then everywhere, these teams have been shuffled around a bit to make sure that they get the teams filled up. So in this case, we have got an under 14 boy playing. Not that you'd notice, he's a really fantastic player. And you'll also see some of the under 16 players playing in the first team later as well. The better players, they get to play in their age group, and then also, if they're good enough, get to get a little bit of a run in the games higher up, just to make sure that we've got these teams filled up. Both teams in this age group are missing a lot of boys that are in isolation at the moment. So
I think I saw the last game, the SACS 15A side didn't actually play at a bench because 4 boys are out at the moment. But yeah, I don't know, it's that I know there's been arguments in the school coaching fraternity over some years about boys playing 2 games on a weekend, and starting for the one team and then benching for the entire team. Whereas I know even in some of the upcountry schools, it's gone further to take out the stopwatches and time the 40% of a game. Oh, great save yet again.
That is another good save by Bissett. Cohen Williams had a chance there to put it in. He just couldn't grab hold of the ball, and eventually when it popped there, he has one go at it. Just can't get hold of it.
2.
Does it and then eventually in front of the goal.
How have they cleared
that? I
that?
don't know how Kurtzen cleared this one. This is actually impressive how he got it out there. And Aussie Pillay just saying, no, enough of this now. Let's get a PC and take a bit of a breather. That actually was an amazing, I'm going to say goal line save, because I'm not sure how that got over the crossbar from so close.
Trying to work out the physics there. How do you lift the ball over the net and onto the baseline? But regardless, the tenacious defense from Wynberg, holding really strong, and will they keep out another? Cowan here with that, as his team told him, that fresh cut. He's looking focused. He's ready.
I'm not sure what happened there. Looks like one of the Wynberg defenders broke early, and he's been sent back to the halfway line. You can't break before the injector pushes the ball out. And the penalty for that is you have to go back to the halfway line, and now Wynberg have to defend the PC with one player short. As we look at it, comes out. Davis looks like he's going to flick this one, and Rowan Davis on the drag flick, as he always does when the chips are down, comes back fighting. You just can't hold him back.
Check the technique here. I mean, it's a little bit of a different technique. He definitely picks it up a little bit further behind, but he's got such quick feet as he explodes forward and launches that top left. Really tough for the goalkeeper to steady himself and be ready, because it just is such a quick release. So Davis there on the score sheet. That's you generally at least say once a weekend. So he's got his one. Can he get his couple more? I think he had, correct me if I'm wrong, Pierre, I think 4 last weekend, 5. I mean, he'll tell me afterwards what he has.
Definitely tell you often. Liam Haupt now with the clever interplay with Pillay, but he just can't find the return pass.
Great hands there by Connor Albrecht.
Connor's brother played in the previous game. Josh Opperman trying to find the linkage now with Oz Pillay. Cole Allen trying to find the cross, but Hudson getting in the way and making sure that he blocks it. Yeah, Rowan Davis is, there are different styles of drag flicking, just as any kind of sport you have. He's more the slingshot drag flicker, and when he does get it right, because of the slingshot effect, it really comes off quickly. And you can see when he did the full rotation there that the goalkeeper actually put his hands to make the save after the ball had passed by. That's how quick it was. Works really hard at his drag flicking. He's down every Tuesday morning at 6:30 in the morning before the sun comes up, putting the hours in, and you can see it pay off when you do the hard work.
It's nothing better than getting the message, do I have to be there tomorrow morning? But now he will be so happy he was there.
Ospele with the clever skill. And earning himself another short corner. I think his short corner tally is going to equal a goal pretty soon. Really clever player, flipping over the stick and getting the hack.
And obviously, you've said it earlier, a lot of these guys will have played against each other now. This is at least the third year running, or maybe two if you take away last year. But I think their Conor Albrecht's starting to become also more prominent, and I'm highly aware that he's also played a hang of a lot of hockey with and against a lot of these boys on the SACS team, and naturally, obviously, with his Wynberg teammates.
Yeah, also a lot of these boys play indoor, where the indoor fraternity in Cape Town and the country does mix up the schools, which is a really good thing. They get to play with each other instead of against each other the whole time. And so a lot of these guys actually end up playing indoor together in the same team and get to know each other well, which is always good to see. Dean Carrick a little bit boisterous there.
Not personally speaking, I'm not sold on that decision. I think, yeah, going toe-to-toe for space is a little bit different between taking a play off the ball. But, yeah, maybe that's just my opinion. It adds to the drama and suspense. So, you know what, good on Tristan Perez for keeping us all honest there.
Yeah, I love the way that Dean Carrick pulled out his halo and gave it the big innocent look. Why me? Ball in front of the goal. Dean Carrick trying to finish with a flick. Dino missing the ball on the right-hand side there. Another chance right in front. Good short counter-attack. It's actually an interesting phenomenon that happens here, that SACS are winning the ball just over the 22, but very quickly trying to get into the circle with their space to try and get the shot off, and Dean not on target there.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see if Sam Holmes will maybe give a little bit of a different idea and tactic for press heights in the second half. You might obviously ask why they're winning so much easy ball, but naturally it does lead to possibly less fluid counters, although that last counter you've just said was, geez, 3 passes and in.
Nice through ball from Cowan there, trying to find Steph May on the outside. Steph May to Cole Allen.
And Gatson, he really gets around. I'd love to get a little tracker on him and be able to see what his distance covered is in game.
Roy Turner just being beaten by the baseline there. I think that was close. No, every attack that's come down, Gatson's got in the way, and been. That's one of those key things about a free centre back. You get to be around the park to make the play happen, but your responsibility is also to be in the way when the attack comes down the channel, which does mean that the free centre backs cover a lot of distance when they play hockey. Play trying to find the through ball, just being blocked. Quick restart. And just being bumped from behind.
I think that's called riding the challenge, being clever to manipulate. Maybe not the best challenge, but I think no real malice there. Maybe enough for a free hit. But Pele is a smart, wily little character. And yeah, I think the moment he saw the player coming in from his left side peripheral, he was clever enough to put the body in the way and win the penalty corner. You'd be happy with that later in 2 hours' time, wouldn't you, if a player was doing that?
No, definitely. Well, there's a fine line between not getting on the umpire's nerves by doing it wrong, but that was very clever, and that's why he's the captain. Very smart player. Dean Carrick right on Bissett's front door again, and I think Dean Carrick is going to get very tired of Bissett getting in the way of all the shots that he's taking from that close range.
And fresh cut Cowan there, misses the rebound. He had a first go at it, Bissett made another save, and then had the shot, and ended up being a cross. And Wynberg getting some purchase here out of the left-hand channel. Many times now, Albrecht passing down to Tristan Butters, and here he is again on the ball. A strong arc, And a cross ball in. Actually quite a tough ball to defend when it's got a little bit of bounce on it.
The bobbly is always difficult. Josh Opperman on the counter, trying to find Michael Roy Turner. Through ball to Liam Haupt. As we watch, 3 Love seems like an interesting scoreline, yet feels like SACS have had more circle entries, but just their percentage conversion is low. So the game still like a 3, or it just takes a goal on the Wynberg side just to throw the cats amongst the pigeons. If they could just get more circle entries, or at least get across the other 22, crack a couple of balls in, just to make SACS think twice about all the free range they're having here with the ball.
Yeah, and might not be fully visible just to the public eye, but it does seem like SACS in this second chukker have changed formation from 4 at the back in the first chukker to 3 at the back, and Wynberg have adapted accordingly there. And you can actually see Tom Stewart having to keep the ball for about 10 seconds until the pass became available. So both sides, almost chess piecing each other out. One moves left, the next one moves right, and they keep equaling each other out with some new tactics. Opperman slowly but surely coming into the game. You don't want Josh Opperman dominating that midfield. I think I had to play against him about 2 months ago in a club game, and jeez, did that man make me work hard in the midfield.
I actually didn't notice him in the first chukker, but like you said, he's suddenly just coming into it. Between him and Ospelay, they seem to dovetail perfectly when they are playing. Ospelay will step in and do work for a while Opperman will cover for him. And then they'll switch, and then you just get a whole new barrage with Opperman coming at you and Ospelay having a bit of a break.
And in terms of this high press, I mean, one would probably wonder, well, what would Wynberg do next? And I think they showed it once or twice, where sometimes the best thing to do is not to mess about with the high pressure. They've probably committed 6-7 players up from SACS's defense. And if you can maybe just have an overhead and look to go forward at the first sight of attack like this, you can break all 6-7 players. And here's a great run. I believe this young man's name is Morgan Coas, if I've got that correct. And a nice strong midfield carry there.
And the turnover happening, and as we said before, SACS very direct, trying to get the ball quickly down the field on the turnover.
Geez, the amount of times I've played this game with crowds whistling at you. Jeez, sometimes even the parents whistling at you, it's all there. So it's obviously such a different occasion. Really, really cold, no crowd, but the boys, seeming to get on with it and quite happy to take it as it comes. I mean, look, these guys, if memory serves correct, only have actually played this fixture in grade 8 when they were under 14.
Yes, way back before COVID. In those days, we can't remember. No, you're right. Not having the crowds does take away from the atmosphere. But like I've said before, being able to knowing that you're all at home watching this, or some of you might be in your office, watching this and knowing what's going on in the game, also vitally important. And I know there's some people out there who talk about the crowds on the sideline. I always think for this team, I miss the voice of Anthea Haupt on the sideline. She's always very encouraging towards the boys non-stop during the game. As we come to the end of the second half, or the second chukker, first half, we get a break now. SACS 3-love up, bombarding the Wynberg goal with lots of opportunities. Wynberg struggling to get out of their own half, and we'll come back to you at the start of the second half. Welcome back to the Brewery Astro at SACS High School, next to the picturesque Table Mountain in the background. As we've got the SACS team under 16A playing against Wynberg under 16A. We've just got past the first half where SACS are leading 3-love. Been a bit of a tussle of a game. The wind blustery in the background. It hasn't been a free-flowing game, but SACS taking their chances and manufacturing a lot of chances. As we see Zach Gibbon about to start the game for Wynberg, playing centre forward for them. A very promising young player coming through the Wynberg ranks. As the pass gets sent off and Wynberg pass the ball all the way back to their own circle. This could hurt if they get caught in the press here, but they do come away. Josh Opperman on the ball. So Brinsley, what do you think Wynberg coach Nate Loff has sent to his Chargers in this next half?
Yeah, I think Nate's probably would have identified as a top current player himself that there's a bit of fluidity from the SACS team, so just to be aware of it. But I think the other big thing that he would have picked up on was that his Chargers have really done well at holding the inside of the field in their deep defense. But I think he would have just chatted about maybe how to get the ball out of the back. And there I was about to say, to be a little bit more direct, maybe with the forward fetching the ball and you know, arcing strong. So maybe they'll just go a little bit more direct and try to keep the ball. And if they can beat that, let's say, front six press of SACS, they will be able to probably have a 3-on-3 high up in the field.
Yeah, I think if they could just get it past that line and then turn, you know, that's the direction they want to end up going in. Going sideways in your own 22 isn't always a good situation. We see SACS intercepting another ball. Dean Carey coming away, but I think it might have just caught his foot. A bit of lack of control.
Yeah, Carrick, Mr. Versatility, as he's known in this team. You'll find him at forward, you'll find him at midfield. Geez, once or twice you might even find him as an attacking defender. But a great first touch there. Oh, but taking him back into contact. And Bonnet, you do not want to put that man in the P spot with a chance to have a shot at goal.
Yeah, Ray Bonnet, having grown up in the Holland system, knowing the value of staying down low, put yourself in the right position. And Liam Haupt just doing the right thing there, intercepting the ball, taking it in deep, committing the keeper, and just slipping it back to the P spot for the easy tap in for Ray Bonnet.
Yeah, we don't always talk about the assisters, so yeah, rightfully said, Liam Haupt, firstly winning the ball, and then secondly, presence of mind to draw the goalkeeper and play the pass.
Dean Carrick going on a run, but well managed the whole way through that run. Good defending.
I think he's won himself a penalty corner. Stand to correction.
Yeah, it looks like they're retreating back there.
And that's what you're going to get out of the oldest boys' school derby in the country. Neither player is going to give an absolute inch away, but if you can use it to your advantage, you might be able to win a couple of free hits.
We often say that the amazing thing of the derby game is that you probably, when you get to matric, you could actually ask the matric boys in all their derby games what the scores were, and somehow they seem to remember what the under 14A score was, the home and away. They seem to remember the under 16 score. They even seem to remember who scored on the day. It's an amazing thing, these derby games that they bring out in people. Everybody seems to remember everything about the game.
Pierre, I am absolutely in agreement with you.
That is amazing. As Khan injects, mistrap by Opperman. They've still got it. Carrick on the miscontrol. You won't be happy with that. Unfortunately, Wynberg just smashed the ball into their own player's foot. The call being just outside the circle. SACS with a quick free hit. Pillay trying to find something for this. Cowan into Ray Bonnet again. Positioned himself in the perfect place. Cowan with a decisive entry, just taking the bull by the horns and saying, let's get this ball in. Ball loose.
I think actually there, if you look back at it, and I'm sure both schools will do some homework next week on this game, but I think Wynberg actually getting their defensive lines correct in terms of holding the hotline, holding the most direct line to goal, but Cowan having the presence of mind to not slap that ball straight at the goal and played it outside the post line, and from that Bonnet profited.
Yeah, very good circle entry there by Mike Cowan, who we've seen in a couple of the games previously where teams got 2 direct and 2 route 1, which is easy to read. And just changing the line there, opening up options.
Yeah, and at this current time, SACS there having scored 5. Yeah, I think it's important that both sides, yeah, it's a long time to go, really, really long time. And if anyone's been watching a bit of the Olympics recently, sometimes you blink and the next thing it's 5-3, or, you know, maybe then the other way, 8-0. So there's loads of time here for both Wynberg to claw their way back, as well as for SACS to keep going with the process.
Michael Royden-Turner showing some silky skills again. He is really quick on the hands when it comes to close quarter skills, not scared to give it air and to make sure that he beats the person, and he gets the short corner by slipping the ball into the circle. Michael Royden-Turner's brother James plays in the first team. His brother combination. We've also got Mike Cowan, whose brother Tom Cowan plays in the first team. We've got on the Wynberg side Albrecht, Conor Albrecht, his brother plays in the under 14 side. So lots of families linking through here that play hockey, and I've got 2 or 3 boys that are playing at the school. In fact, we've got the Frost brothers. There's 3 of them that are playing hockey. Good family affairs that come through.
Oh, wow.
Davis going for the individual skill.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Not sure if that was on purpose, but jeepers creepers, did he play off a little bit of pressure there and was just sizzling through that defense. But clever goalkeeping as well to close down the space, and ultimately SACS get themselves a long corner.
Davis pushing the ball back in again. Cole Allen, good spot, dropping it back. Tom Stewart, I think he slapped there from the short corner. He hasn't retreated back to his centre back position.
Yeah, he loves it up there. You give that man one opportunity to get a higher attack from defence, and he is going.
Luke Salters pushing the ball straight through, but unfortunately, SACS not really get on the end of it. I think Cole Allen will be really upset with the ball that went through him there.
I'd like to see Wynberg maybe making a little bit more use of their midfield, and here's a good example. Maybe the guys could just face a little bit more forward when they're getting it, and they could be able to make a good attack. Great defending there by, I think that was Conor Albrecht.
Yes, it was Conor. Josh Opperman returning the favour by intercepting, and now there should be an overlap of numbers here if they can just link up together, and Opperman with a slap, putting the ball in the bottom corner.
Who's he pointing to there?
I think he's pointing at his teammate to set him up, or maybe the coach who told him to stop shooting over the crossbar and put it in the bottom corner. Again, SACS, when they do win the ball, just over the halfway line or close to the opponent's 22, they're very direct and very quick, and are turning. Most counterattacks normally, when you talk about hockey tactics, Brinsley, they often talk about counterattacking from your own half. But this different style that SACS have here of actually winning the ball near the 22 and turning a very short and sharp counter-attack in to get some reward, and 6-love is the score that's shown that does work.
Yeah, I actually think it might be. I think it's a little bit more tricky to. Wow, Wayne
Madava just pulling some through the leg skill. Liam Haupt going for the over top skill.
And definitely milking that a little bit, having a little bit of a theatrical jump dive, but clever all the same, but great skill to cut inside.
And Wayne and Liam resume, and Liam just loses control on the edge there.
Yeah, but back to that earlier point, I actually need to commend the SACS 16A side. I think it's tougher to counter from higher, just because often you'll find that you have less space to counter into, and you want that space to really burst forward, but you probably only have 3 or 4 options against 3 or 4, whereas if you can counter from deep in your own half, you have every single opportunity to really have a lot of space to work with, and that's where a lot of teams will train it.
Yeah. Michael Royden-Turner's run out of space there. Baseline catching him again. It is one of the nice things about hockey rules. Wayne Madabo there making the ball live by himself, and then able to carry it so he can make a new angle happen instead of waiting for somebody to move and taking a stationary free hit.
I would have done anything for those rules to have been active when I was still at school. Just after I left, did those rules change?
As you said before, the nice thing about hockey, and one of the things we really love about the sport, is that the rules governing body aren't scared to try new rules and implement. First of all, they implement trial rules to see if they're going to work out, and after a couple of trial rules, they see if they work, maybe iron them and just fudge them to make sure that they come on the right side, and then they implement those full-time rules. So the rules of today's game, us older players definitely played a different style of hockey. One of the big things about the modern game is playing backhand and forehand. The older style of playing was only forehand. The backhand was outlawed, basically, kind of like the reverse sweep in cricket. And now you see the game being played in 3 dimensions, not just backhand, forehand, but also you see the guys lifting the ball and having aerial skills. It's fantastic to see that development of the game.
Yeah, I have to really say that maybe FIFA and Co could take a leaf out of FIH's book. Evidently, there must be less in-house bribery at FIH. No, let me take that one back completely. It's on there now. But they're actually awesome to see Wynberg doing something different. They've just thrown 2 aerials in this game now, but both times the aerials have got some proper distance on them. And I personally would love to see Wynberg making the most of this in the final, about 20 minutes after the game. Maybe when they have their 16s and free hits, looking to play a diagonal overhead and look to attack at speed.
The nice thing about that for Wynberg is it turns the SACS players around, and you hate being turned around when you're playing one way down the field and have to go fetch the ball or go and look for somebody behind you. Yeah, no, the rules of hockey have kept the game exciting, although it does mean they're difficult to follow if you're new to the game, and so you've got to pay attention. I find the same when I go watch water polo, not knowing the nuances, and so you have to actually watch it for a while and get some guidance. Here we have Davis taking a swing at the ball.
Yeah, every game he enjoys a little one-time shot. He has got a couple of absolute stinkers from one-time shots, but he's also got 1 or 2. Well, I've actually seen 1 or 2 of his own sticks flying about 40 meters away as well. But Royden Turner putting on a little show there with some nice hands.
There you see another overhead. So clearly Wynberg have now called it that they want to get a lot of over-the-top balls to try and turn SACS around and get the ball deep in the SACS half. So SACS now have to work a much longer counter-attack to get the ball down the field. Royden Turner just getting a bit of pressure on himself over there.
I see Stewart's found himself up there with the higher. It looks like he's playing in midfield here, and that's also another attribute of this team, is to be highly versatile. You can't really miss Stewart with the Lumo pink orangey sort of shoes, but loads of rotations here. I've also seen a couple of Wynberg boys there playing between lines, and it's exciting for them, and I think it's important at this age as well to not necessarily only play one position just yet. I'm sure soon enough though they will probably find themselves a position that most suits their game. Although in saying that, geez, I think Gatson today is put on a little masterclass at centre back.
Yeah, there Tom Stewart just catching him halfway up. That might just earn him a green card. I think it does. Tom Stewart with the swashbuckling. We call it the feather duster tackle. You go out there trying to feather dust with your left hand, but this feather duster took a bit of wood out the woodwork. So Wynberg got a chance now to play against SACS with a man down for the next couple of minutes, and it's one of those things where if you've practiced this and you know what you want to do, try and create some 2v1s and get the ball on the field, you can capitalize on it.
How much emphasis do you, Pierre, as a coach, put on, I know a lot of drills can always be numbers up, but are there the chats about playing with 11 versus 10 or 10 versus 11? Or, geez, sometimes, you know, in this high-paced game, 9 versus 11.
I tell you what, the first thing you always train is how to play without a man, because if one of your players do get a card, you have to know how to defend and not be turned over quite quickly. But a lot of the exercises we do in training, and this is a common thing in training, is to have a numbers up training. You've got an extra player. As we see Davis taking a quick one shot again, as he always does, maybe could have taken a bit more time then. And training with the player up, how to create 2v1s, how to make the space of where the space is to move into. But like I said, often we train with a man down to survive. with having a player off the field like SACS would do now, where the players need to be. They've got to fill the gap where Tom Stewart should have been with a player, otherwise you end up with a gap somewhere on the field. Just had a quick glimpse on the side of the field. They're seeing the headmasters of the schools with their beanies and everything on. SACS earning themselves a short corner just by pushing the ball on the foot. And again, let's see if Davis gets a flick off this time or if they go for another variation.
Yeah, let's call this. I know Michael Cowan loves running to the sideline to get the instruction, the command. So let's see. Body language is always a little bit of a tell. I'm going to call it. I'm going second Castle to Liam Haupt, traps, and Davis to German the ball to Dean Carrick. I'm going bold.
I'm going for a straight Dean Carrick flick here. I have some experience with these guys.
Pierre Leroux, who are you? That is unbelievable. Great flick from Carrick. The bouncer, you'll see this here. A little bit of a bounce, always really tough. I actually think Ashton Bishop there has done well. He has really read that line, but the little skim, the bounce on the ball made it really tough, and that's a fantastic flick for 16 years of age from Dean Carrick.
Also the nice composure on it. He didn't try and go big. Often they try and rocket the ball in the top corners whenever they can. But he's been working really hard on his low flick. It's something that his natural flick has always been to lift the ball. And then if you're just lifting the ball the whole time and the keeper knows you're a higher flicker, it's quite easy to save because you limit your options. But a really good inside-out flick there into the gap. I'm sure Ashton Bissett will be turning to his postman and saying, "Where were you?"
Yes, no doubt.
Those are the things that always happen when the ball goes between the postman and the keeper. They always look at each other and have a bit of a discussion about whose fault it is. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's SACS have got their 8th goal and in command of this game now. And I see Nate Loft there trying to get some ideas through to them. I'm sure the first priority would be just get on the scorecard. And if we saw the under-15 game, the Wynberg under-15 team were struggling a bit, and they scored a goal, and you could see them lift their spirits and get a bit more confident. So it's so fantastic to see the hockey on the TV. I'm sure with all the parents, wherever you are, you've all come home from work by now, hopefully, and sitting inside with either the warm fireplace or with the heater on, with your blankets wrapped around you in a cold Cape Town day, watching this broadcast. It's so good to see this on SuperSport Schools. To feel like you're right there as well, to see what's happening. And not just that, to get to chat to your boys when they come home about their game and know what they've done or haven't done. It's fantastic that we have this opportunity, and it's actually amazing how we've been able to transition from no spectators to get in this broadcast, and people that can then still experience what's happening on the field, even if they can't be there to raise their voices and scream and shout. Having said that, I see somebody in the background there with a t-shirt on. I think the guy must be nuts.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but I'm intrigued to get him onto the SACS coaching panel, because that man has mental skills that we evidently do not have.
That is impressive. SACS back on the Wynberg 22. They spent a lot of this game trying to work out the puzzle of how to get into a congested circle.
Yeah, having obviously been involved, both of us, with the SACS under 16 side now, it's been a common theme for their season is to have a lot of possession and a lot of high possession. But yeah, they've certainly made the most out of a congested space throughout the entire season, and yeah, maybe for them going forward, they'll take on some teams. First team is always so different, there's just a different atmosphere. Putting on a different shirt does things, and I think in the coming years it'll be exciting to see this team, if they will still be as dominant. I'm sure they'll tell you they can be, or they would want to be at least. But yeah, obviously other teams are going to keep getting better, and that's what this is all about. The two headmasters there, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Jan de Waal from Wynberg on the left, and
Mr. Brennan Grant on the right-hand side there.
And it's just awesome to see. You know, this is what it's all about, coming right from the top.
On the side of the field in the nice cold.
Stewart there, pretty happy with himself, running through the lines and winning a PC.
In fact, Tom Stewart's found himself quite high in the field here. I think he's pushed Mike Cowan all the way back and said, Mikey, you do a bit of defensive work for a while I take up the reins, pushing through, trying to earn some PCs. And he's taking control top of the castle. So this does happen near the end of the game when Tom Stewart does go forward. He finds himself on the drag flick as well, and he's been working really hard on his bottom left flick. So let's see if he gets this one off. Oh, good save on the first wave there. Tom's going to be upset with that. He doesn't give me any chance to flick on the drag flick, and then he gets saved on the first wave.
Yeah, he's scored 2 in the last 2 weekends. I think one was a slip and one was a straight flick. So he's obviously growing in confidence there, but yeah, he'll obviously be a little bit frustrated. And Davis there being adjudged to having come through on Yassine Moose.
Davis in the action again, just losing his balance, and of course who's it but Gertsen just getting in the way. Another fantastic tackle.
The command there to Rogan Sturk, a quality goalkeeper, being told to keep it in. And composed there by Sturk to Cowan, and now to one of the youngsters in the team, Stefan Meyer. And Albrecht cleaning up shop. But to my knowledge, him and Opperman know each other well. So,
yes.
Yeah, little battle kept on going in midfield.
Gertsen getting the ball at the back. Now Cowan seems to have pushed a bit further forward, but I see Tom Stewart there with orange boots. There he is, trying to put pressure on, camping very high in the field, getting super confident.
I think that's the 3rd time Wynberg have won the ball and cleared it deep straight away. And I know you once or twice enjoy this tactic, but dare I say, Wynberg maybe go a little old school and tell at least 2 of the forwards not to retreat and defend with 8. I mean, geez, definitely risky, but I mean, they've been doing a fair amount of defending all game, so you know, they've got nothing to lose also at the moment. And if they win it, at least they've got a counter-attack on. I don't know. I mean, I know Barcelona did this a couple of years back where they told Messi and the big boys not to come back, and it gave more space to the midfield. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just commentating.
Brinsley, one of our top coaches, been a bit feigning modesty. I think I like the idea of hanging a couple of forwards every now and then, because it just disrupts the opposition. They've got to rethink about what they're doing. Kind of gets in their head a little bit as well. I know when I'm playing against Ashland Freddy, that's a famous thing that he hates. He hates it when I do it, so we do it more often, obviously, just to make sure that Ashland stays honest.
Is Ashland double bluffing you, Pierre? That's the question.
Oh, we love these games, especially a lot of the school coaches have been coaching for many years, and so as we have this oldest derby being played here, there are a lot of derby rivalries between coaches that happen as umpire steps in there and adjudicates a slightly tougher tackle there.
I think that's a green card there to Morgan Cohas. He's been industrious today. I've really enjoyed his work ethic in the Wynberg midfield. And unfortunately just getting on the wrong side of a challenge, but sometimes those happen in the engine room. And yeah, I've personally been a big fan of his work ethic today. And I think if he was just a little bit more supported with 1 or 2 players closer to him, he would have found he would have had a little bit more output.
Yeah, he has been isolated at the back, unfortunately. We talk about a modern term in hockey these days, is the idea of fetchers. The lingo changes every 5 to 6 years. But I think that's the one thing that Wynberg just don't have in this team is people coming back to fetch, turn, and then send the ball down the field. They just can't find their fetchers. And so they get stuck with either having to throw the ball very long, or they end up just throwing it to SACS, which is what SACS doing really well, just intercepting them and taking it forward again. Cole Adams showing some little defty skills there going through.
Yeah, little Cole Adam, great player. Great technical base for a young man, and I'm sure as he grows, he will even get more and more confident on the ball in these challenges.
Yeah, Cole Adams still under 15, so he's got another 16 year next year. So this experience he has now, being a junior in the team to being one of the seniors in the team next year is valuable to have that. I see some boys in the background arriving with blankets.
And Daniel Wiley as well from Wynberg, starting to get more and more involved as well in some of the attacks. And you just saw it there about 10 seconds ago. He's on the ball now. No, he is not on the ball now, but now he's on the ball. Yeah, a nice inside pull on the backhand, playing the pass.
Just flopping the shot, and Wayne Mandava's got to come clear up and clean the mess up. The scoreline is a little bit stagnant at the moment. Nothing moving much, but there's a midfield tussle that's going on here. SACS just slowing down a bit on their pace. They were much quicker in the first couple of chukkers. I think the scoreboard is on their side, so they're just going through the motions now of keeping possession and trying to play the game. There's no urgency. But I'm pretty sure, if I know their coach Sam Holmes, as we near the end of the game, he's going to start piling the pressure on them to try and see if they can get on the goal. And that's just to kind of make sure that they're not getting lazy and being a bit naughty about taking their foot off the pedal a bit.
Yeah, also I think here SACS with a lower ball starts, you know, in their own half, you can actually see Rogan Sturk, the goalkeeper, in shot, which means Wynberg at the moment pressing a little bit higher than they've had to most of the game, or defending a bit higher than they've had to most of the game. So there should be a lot of acres of space, sort of 50 meters down the park, if they can just play one quick acceleration pass through. But not to be, maybe a little bit too blasé, and hitting Pilet's foot and turnover. But awesome to see Wynberg now with a high attacking ball start. If they can just get a couple of guys into the crucial zones in the circle, they could go. But here's help now with maybe that 70-meter counter we were speaking about.
He's got the space. Can he find the runner? No, Liam Haupt. Albrecht gets straight in the way and says, "You shall not pass here." Liam's still got the ball. Trying to find a pass out somewhere.
Pilet with some clever body manipulation.
And Luke Salter's creeping out the outside half like he does so often. And good hands again by Royden Turner. And Ray Bonnet back on the P spot, and this time he missed.
I think that would have been the hat-trick. I stand to correction. He might have 3 already, but I think he's on 2. What I enjoy a lot about Bonnet there is he doesn't try to hurt the ball and break the ball and get us a new one. You know, he's quite calculated. You'll always see a stick on the ball in the circle and a low body position and posture, which is a sign of a clever forward. I think him and Davis also complement each other well, where the one is quite strong in the attacks, and the other one's just a little bit crafty.
Yeah, it's a very good combination. You've got different types of players working off each other. It also gives the variety when you get to the circle. If you just do the same old every time, it becomes predictable and easy to defend.
I certainly heard it from an ex-top coach that you actually mentioned a little bit earlier, and he said he would, obviously he might be dealing with some different sort of caliber of teams, but yeah, he would almost look for 5 different style forwards, or at least 4 out of the 5 to be different style forwards, and that just makes it so difficult to defend against.
A bit of a debate on the field now about where this hit should be taken. That's on the sideline, and what normally happens when the ball's in the back corner like this, the opposition, in this case SACS, will put the pressure on and try and get as many players close. But Wynberg filtering through. Zach Gibbon just losing control there. And SACS popping it through now. Royden Turner again, bit of a tension. I know Michael Royden Turner, if you put attention on him, he deliberately tries to beat you, and he does beat you quite often. Some really good hand skills. Dean Carrick, ball line loose on the circle, keeper down. Dina's going to try and pull the big swing out.
Great save.
Another good save by Ashton Bissett at the back. Like I said, Dean Carrick's not going to enjoy this. Dean Carrick has hit Bissett, or Bissett has saved a lot of Dean Carrick's shots. And so he's not going to enjoy that part of it. Through ball to Luke Salters, who just can't keep control. Luke Salters, the right half, making one of his little daring runs on the outside up high. Not scared to get on attack, young Luke Salters, if he needs to.
He told me early in the week that he thinks he is Trent Alexander-Arnold, and that's who he bases his game off. I'm sorry if he isn't a Liverpool supporter, or is. I'm not sure, but I'm sure the boys are going to remind him of such.
Oh no. Roy Turner winning the ball in the midfield again. Just keeping the ball away from attention from the Wynberg and playing it safe back to Steph Meyer.
And here we go. Counter-attack opportunity for Wynberg. Davis finding himself deep in the field.
Through ball to Cohen Williams. It looks like he's won the short corner. Last 2.5 minutes of the match, and SACS earning themselves another short corner. Hertz are not happy with that. The ball popping up off somebody's stick and hitting him on the leg. One of those uncontrollables that does happen. As we look at the SACS short corner team lineup again. Davis trying to take ownership of the top of the circle, yeah.
And as the sun has now set behind Devil's Peak mountain range, I'm sure those lights are getting ready to come on. Roy and Turner looking, delivering. Stewart, oh, slips. Must be the shoes. Great
Davis.
save by Bissett.
Davis with the one time again. Cole Allen just trying to re-earn the short corner, but goes backwards to Opperman. Opperman's nickname over the past couple of years has been the Ghost because he's so difficult to catch on the field.
I can attest to that, Pierre, definitely.
Roy and Turner taking a bit of attention there, being bumped around. And
So
the short corner.
Penalty corner, a little push as well. So, yeah, umpire there, I think just laying down the law. And, well, Bissett has another chance to make another save. And I think Bissett has really done well here. Just sorting out his kickers, having a chat with the boys. And I think he's going to relish in this opportunity.
Looks like Davis is cocking himself here for a slip flick. No, Tom Stewart on the hook. Tom Stewart's not going to enjoy that. It's gone in. Straight back to Roy and Turner. We didn't see that. I thought he missed the goal, but Roy and Turner back to the injector. He snuck along the baseline, gone down low, and he's tapped it in with a backhand. Good hand skill there.
Yeah, jeez. I mean, the reaction skills from RT over there to have that. Well done. 30 seconds left. 9-0 at the moment to SACS under 16A side. Mayer always calm. You wouldn't know he's the youngster in the team. Look at him. He's just so calm the entire time. I think he heard us talking, looking up. And that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all she wrote. Thank you for joining us today. Pierre and everybody, another great game from SACS 16A, and Wynberg definitely defending really strongly in the middle of the field this week compared to last.
Yes, but the SACS team is we know before, is a very strong team, and they've just shown it again how they put things together and get the results. So a good win for SACS under 16A in this derby game. As we bring you the second team match coming up pretty soon. Thank you for your viewership.